Native Robin again, and today we're going to talk about gardening by the square foot. Now, way back in my video archives, I've got a video on when I originally built my square foot garden. I followed the instructions of Mel Bartholomew. If you want to Google him, I'll try to put a link in the description as well, who wrote a book on gardening by the square foot. Now, the ingredients are simple. You want to get a 4 foot by 4 foot box made of lumber. Now, you can use 2x6s. You're not going to believe what you can grow in just 6 inches of soil. But you want to use what he calls Mel's Mix. And Mel's Mix has 1/3 vermiculite, 1/3 peat moss, and 1/3 compost. Now, the trick with the compost is not all compost is the same. Some of it is made from mushrooms, some of it's composted from manure, some of it's composted from various other things. As many different kinds as you can get, the better. Mel suggests if you can find 5 different kinds, mix them all together, there should be enough nutrients to grow anything you need in your garden. So I've had my garden out for about 3 or 4 years now, so this year I'm just going to freshen it up. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to show you what I do, kind of kick things going, and show you what I got. So check it out. Okay, here we have the 3 ingredients that's in Mel's Mix: peat humus, vermiculite, and cow manure. And since I'm just freshening this up, I'm just going to throw some of each in the pile. My one advice is when you're putting vermiculite in, do it on a day that's not windy, because when you go to pour this in, the wind will blow it everywhere but where you want it to go. But today's a pretty good day. Now, since I'm going to be doing a bunch of mixing, I'm just going to kind of do a quick mix on this. Now we'll pour the cow manure in. Pour in a half a bag of humus. Okay, so right now we've been talking, this is square foot gardening. Okay, now it's not square foot garden unless you garden in square foots. So what that means is we're going to take these boxes and we're going to divide them off with little dividers into little 1 foot squares. Now, you can use anything, you can use string, you could use anything you want. People have been creative, old mini blinds, whatever. The cheapest and easiest things I've found to use are these bundles of slats I get at Menards for like $7, $7.50. There's enough here to easily do your garden, plus some nice little wooden slats. Now, these will last you, I get 2 to 3 years out of a set before I gotta replace them. I like them because they're all natural. There's nothing in these that'll bleed off into the soil, and it helps me get the job done. Now, I connect them with these little screws, just little multi-purpose drywall type screws. I don't need them to go more than just through both sides. So, you know, that's good enough. Inch long, 3/4 of an inch is plenty. I will tell you that in years past I've not pre-drilled the hole, thinking, oh, it's just soft pine, it'll be fine. But if it splits out, that'll be the first one that'll go bad on you and rot. So you're better off just to go ahead, pre-drill the holes, and it goes together fairly quick. So now you could say that I could do this without wood slats, but what'll happen is you start guessing where 1 foot is. Pretty soon your guesses are a little more off, a little more off, a little more off, and you're not gardening by the square foot anymore. You're just gardening in a raised bed, which is fine, but it's not the same thing. So I'll go ahead and put these together and I'll show you the finished project. Okay, if you look at some of my dividers, you'll see 2 screws occasionally. What happened was I didn't measure the boards before I brought them home, and they were actually an inch short. So that'll learn you when you're at the lumber yard. Always take a tape measure and measure there and check them, because they're not always right. I've been buying them there for years and they've always been 4 feet. Suddenly they're 47 inches. So we got them all spliced and we have all of our 16 little squares now. So now we can garden in each of our 16 squares individually like it's its own garden. Planting peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, anything I want. So okay, the next step is assembling the trellis, which I take a piece of rebar, get it at any hardware store, fairly inexpensive, and drive it in each corner. Yeah. So now we just take this conduit and slide it over the rebar I just put in the ground. Get this thing started here. There you go. Okay, this trellis design is something I come up with that I liked. I've got standard Burpee nylon netting. I attached it with electrical zip ties, nylon. I used regular 1/2-inch conduit connectors that you can screw and take apart. So if I really wanted to transport these, I could just disassemble the whole thing if I wanted. If you had a tubing bender, you could use that and save yourself some money. These are the most expensive thing you got to buy. A whole piece conduit might be $1.50. These are $5 or $10 a piece. So, and by having two sides, it's really strong to protect yourself. Now what I'll do is in the back, I'll plant tomatoes and cucumbers that vine. Tomatoes that are indeterminate grow, you can get them to vine. Determinate bush. So look when you're looking, look for that. Cucumbers, of course, they have a mind of their own. Just set them up and they'll just go right up there. I did string beans one year. You could do string green beans, they'll grow. So that's it. I'll show you what it looks like once I get some peppers and things in there and get it going. Okay, here's the finished product. I got my trellis up the back so the plants can grow. I put a fence around. I just had to add one post here and then wrapped a fence around it because the scourge of the suburbia, the rabbits, will get in there. But I've got cucumbers in the back, tomatoes in the back that will vine. I've got peppers. Now what I like to do is in this side I'll grow all the hot peppers like habaneros, tabascos, Thai dragons, chilies, cayennes. Over here in the other garden I'll plant sweet bell peppers and stuff, and I've got room for radishes and lettuce and things. So from all of just 2 4-foot boxes I will have anywhere from a dozen or more different varieties of peppers, 4 different varieties, 5 different varieties of tomatoes, all in this one little spot. So gardening by the square foot is something you could do just about anywhere that you have 4 foot by 4 foot. You can make this 3 foot by 3 foot and it would be just as easy to work. Just divide it into 3 foot, 9 squares. So that's where we're at on this so far. I'll follow up during the summer with some more videos showing the progress. Well, that is Square Foot Gardening, a quick crash course on how to spruce it up and freshen up your soil, getting up your trellis and planting your vegetables. I'll follow up with some more videos as the summer goes on. But thanks for watching. Until next time, happy trails.